Hello everybody and welcome to this week's video. So today we're talking about gaslighting by logic, and I'm going to open up this topic with an anecdote from when I worked as a hostess at a really shitty, well, the restaurant itself wasn't shitty, but I had a really shitty boss who was like totally abusive, and it was a shit show, but I also learned a lot from that experience. So yeah, as a hostess, I had to clear tables and had to like do this whole thing of clearing and putting on this like paper tablecloth, and it was like a whole setup. And my manager was very micromanagey, and was like I was going and setting up tables, and he stopped me, and he was like, you're not doing it efficiently. You should start here and then there and then there, and that way your route is more efficient. And then I was like, oh, I guess that makes sense. So I tried doing it the way he said it, but then I ended up being less efficient. And what I didn't realize, what I didn't have context for, was that for me, the time it takes to like plan out a route like takes longer than just like doing something, like just doing what comes to me, like setting up a table there or there or there. And that actually works better for my neurodivergent brain, right? Just to do something as it comes rather than to pause and like plan out a route. But I didn't have any context for my neurodivergence at the time, so I ended up kind of getting caught up in his view of things because it logically made sense, but it ended up being worse for me. And so this is what I mean by gaslighting gaslighting by logic. Is something sounds good on the surface logically, but there's another truth that we don't have words or context for yet. So we end up getting sucked into what sounds logically correct. Because the thing is, there's a vast amount of knowledge in the field that we don't have access to, but our body-mind intelligence does, even though that doesn't have the words for it. Because when you capture something by logic and words, you distill something down to a metaphor or a symbol. Like words are metaphors and symbols, but they don't actually represent the entirety of the thing. A tree is more than the word tree, but we have a word for tree so we can symbolize that thing that we cannot capture the whole essence of, right? Words are symbolic. If you want to look at that branch of philosophy, it's called tautology, right? That words can never capture the full essence of something. And similarly, if we go beyond logic and tune into the field of intelligence, we can access a lot more. But it requires a lot of discernment, a lot of trust in our inner wisdom, and yeah, it requires a process of learning to distinguish between logic and heart-mind intelligence and gut-mind intelligence, and that's a practice. And one is not better than the other. It's just to be able to have fluency between using these different types of knowledge in whichever context is the best. So the takeaway is, like, sometimes something logically makes sense, but there is, something bigger that we just can't tune into, but we can feel it. And I think in this day and age where information is so manipulated, and it can be twisted to logically make sense, we really need to have that deeper wisdom guiding us through our lives. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you at the next video. Goodbye.